Good morning, good day, and yes, we're back. We are back in Metro Manila. Hindi naman po pwedeng palaging nandoon tayo sa Lipa City kasi ako po ang dakilang tsuper, dakilang bodyguard ng dakilang asawa. Medyo meron pong mga obligasyon sa Metro Manila. In any case, welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and you are watching the program via Signal TV channels 8 and 250. And if you have not subscribed to Signal TV, then chances are you are watching us via facebook.com/onenewsph or YouTube One News PH. Sana naman po, I would really request you to please subscribe to Signal TV because as you may have noticed, we don't have a lot of advertising. Not that we don't get offers, but because we are really a subscription-based organization, the Signal TV, and that's why uninterrupted po ang ating kwentuhan, hiritan, at interviewhan dito sa agenda. And today being March 4, 2021, it's a Thursday. We will have the most important news, lalo na para sa inyong mga namamasukan. Office workers, employees, factory workers, etc. Because we will be interviewing a couple of people. First would be Mr. Gerard Seno, National Vice President, Associated Labor Unions, and Undersecretary Benjo Benavidez of the Department of Labor para mapag-usapan itong mga kumakalat, all this talk that's going on about no vaccination, no employment. That's one. And then the petition of some labor or many labor groups to increase the daily wage by 100 pesos because they can no longer support themselves. Sabi nga ng iba, presyo lang ng baboy, mukhang hindi na kami makakatikim. Baka kahit balat na lang na panchicharon, mukhang hindi na kaya ng ordinaryong namamasukan or trabahador. In any case, we will discuss that. So, the no vaccine, no employment talk, and then the 100 peso adjustment or request of labor groups for them. And then, ito yung kung saan nabambo na naman si Secretary Harry Roque regarding the scaling down of vacations. Kasi yung mga confederation ng mga bossing, mga employers, sinasabi, sobrang dami. There's just too many vacations in the Philippines. Well, that really depends on what or who is in office. But by and large, foreigners do say, or foreign employers or foreign observers do say that in the Philippines, we have an overabundance of vacations. Ang problema, mukhang sabi naman ng iba, yun na nga lang ang pampahinga namin kasi mababa naman ang sweldo, hindi naman pagkaganda-ganda ang kinabukasan. Marami nga mga contractual laborers lang eh. In any case, we will discuss that. Okay, ayun na naman, in any case, nagbibilang na ako para matigil yan eh. Okay, next, we will also be speaking with Governor Presbitero Velasco Jr., Governor of Marinduque and President of the League of Provinces in the Philippines because we want to find out. Alamin natin, lalo na kayo nandiyan sa mga probinsya, we will find out from Governor Presbitero Velasco what exactly is the position of the League members, what is the sentiment of governors, because there are people who are worried that although the national government had said, relax the travel requirements, relax the acceptance requirements of tourists and travelers all over the Philippines, there is a fear that we might end up in a situation where nagmagandang loob ko, yung national government, yung local government and provinces naman, ang pwesto para nga sila naman yung magiging barrier to mobility and opening the economy. Okay, now let's go it's 8:05. Let's go to the front page and the headline of the Philippine Star. The Health Department is closely monitoring the papataas po, paparami, upward trend of infections in areas within Metro Manila, Central Visayas, and Cordillera Administrative Region. Still, the DOH assures that the health system capacity in these areas are at a safe level. Malacanang says that the AstraZeneca vaccines from the COVAX facility are expected to arrive today. However, vaccine czar Carlito Charlie Galvez Jr. refused to confirm this news, saying that it would be better to say so when the vaccines have left Belgium on its way here to the Philippines. Kasi, naku, ilang beses na nga po na mga nasabit yung mga announcements na yan, yung pala, there is no definitive arrival date. Because even if, let's say, it leaves Belgium, and nag-cellphone, the boat has left the port. Paano kung biglang si King Neptune nagpakita, sabi, teka, ako nga bakunahan nyo, paktaylo na kayo dyan, nabagyo yung barko, napirata. So, tama si Charlie Galvez dito, si Secretary Charlie Galvez. Wag na natin pangunahan, intayin na lang natin dumating. Lumanding nga sa pier, hindi naman umabot sa inyo. Anyway, still news from Malacanang. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque has apologized after his controversial statement saying that we have been on an extended vacation. Roque made this statement as he was defending the government's decision to declare All Souls Day, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve as special working holidays. Parang ang bitaw yata isang taon na rin naman tayong nakabakasyon. You know, in fairness naman po kay Secretary Roque, parang kumbaga figure of speech, parang yung nangyari sa tatay ko na the first to hide under the bed, yung mga ganun, bulaklak ng bibig, o kaya, I mean, it was just a reflection of reality. We have, and people will argue, it was never a vacation. Yeah, it's a figure of speech. Wag nyo naman putaktihin si Roque. I mean, I just hope maybe, and I've said this about Secretary Roque, don't be too flippant. Don't comment on anything and everything. Not everything or every question deserves a response or a reaction. Kumbaga, kung naman, huwag mo na seryosohin yan. Stuff like that. No? But in any case, let's give a little leeway to some people. And of course, at the same time, while I implore everyone to be more lean, more relaxed, more understanding of others, I also implore Secretary Roque, let this be a opportunity of learning. Have a teachable heart, di ba? Na, dapat wag ko na lang patulan yung mga bagay na yan. Okay, ito po ang isang serious na balita dyan sa harapan ng Philippine Star. Sacked former Philippine ambassador. Anak ng ewan, sack na, former pa. Sacked former Philippine ambassador to Brazil, Marichu Mauro, Mauro is going to court to appeal her maltreatment case, claiming that her case was railroaded. If you are not familiar with this case, former Ambassador Mauro was our ambassador to Brazil, and someone had downloaded or given a video to a Brazilian news group showing Ambassador Mauro maltreating, parang sinabon, pinagalitan, sinigawan, o ewan ko, baka nabatukan. Hindi ko po napanood yung video, no? And it caused an uproar. And of course, yung DFA, yung mga tiga-DFA, wow, teka, unbecoming of an ambassador, Pilipina pa, lalo na Pilipina pa yan, that is not how we treat our kababayans, etc. In short, pinarecall si ambassador, tapos kinasuhan siya din ang balita ko hindi niya nakausap yung kanyang bossing na si Teddy Boy Locsin. And then there is a board in the DFA that hears the whole thing, and then nagbigay sila ng list of recommendations. Kumbaga, parang eto po, no? Pick and choose na lang kayo dahil ang magdidesisyon talaga ang presidente. Ito po ang problema. Sometimes in the Philippines kasi, punishment is not correction eh. Kanya nga yung sinasabi nila, yung mga ating penitentiary is a correctional. Hindi po, kasi dito parang ganti-ganti. Whether for personal vengeance or political revenge, as they would call it. In the case of Ambassador Mauro, I'm sorry, but what do you call this? She nirecall siya from Brazil, tinanggalan siya ng pagka-ambassador to Brazil, tinanggal siya, inalis sa kanya yung pagka-ambassador, period, and then tinanggal siya sa DFA, period. Okay na. Aba, ang problema pa yung kanyang pagka-qualify. Kasi merong merong qualification exemption para makapasok ka sa DFA or to do foreign service. Pati yun, ninalify. Pagkatapos, bawal pa siya. She now cannot qualify or I think take exams for the civil service, etc. And all of her privileges, her benefits and ba ito, yung tatawagin yung mga pang-retirement. Wala, ubos. Teka, pumatay ba ng tao ito? Nangaliwa ba ng asawa ito? Nagnakaw ba ito sa gobyerno? Meron siyang nilait. O maaari, nasaktan pa niya. No? She may have hurt, may maltreated a Filipina who has been working for her family for 30 years. Medyo very personal na sila, yung kanilang relasyon. But for you to completely, totally obliterate anything that is due her that she earned prior to this incident, and then saying, example, tapos may isa pa senador, sumausaw pa. Excuse me, nakisausaw pa kung ano-ano pang komentaryo sinabi tungkol dito. I'm sorry, it's excessive. The Bible says, leave room for vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Dito, ministerial na nga lang yung tao. Sinagad pa ninyo. Sorry, no? Anyway, baka mapagalitan na ako ng aking executive producer. Move on na po tayo kay Mr. Gerard, Seno, National Executive Vice President, Associated Labor Unions. Mr. Seno, good morning, sir. Sir Gerard, good morning to you. Nako, ayan na nga ba sinasabi ko. Kailangan padala natin ng Mr. Marco Borlongan. Padalan mo naman ng team yan si Mr. Seno. Baka kailangan na makita niya yung kaibahan. Kailangan mo yata makita yung PLDT home fiber na super bilis. Mr. Seno, are you there already? Okay, Gab, I think we're gonna have to take the interview of Mr. Seno online on the mobile na lang, telephone na lang siguro kasi ayan po naghahang yung kanyang. Anyway, I leave that to team agenda. I just want to recognize my team. Arvic Tolentino, welcome back to reality. Medyo, itong si Arvic was working from home for the longest time pero now has to go back to the studio. It's normal already. Mukhang kami, wala na. I will only go from this studio to the one in Lipa. In any case, we'll go for a quick break, hook up with Mr. Seno, and when we return, pag-usapan natin itong mga bagay-bagay na nasa palaisipan ng ating mga manggagawa. Here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and we are broadcasting live from Barrio Capitolio in Pasig City, courtesy of PLDT Home Fiber Only. And tayo po, ayan, no? Medyo magpakabit na kayo at pakabit nyo 100 Mbps. Sabi nyo, kuya nga mahal. Hindi po mahal kasi, hello, magkano lang yung mga polo ngayon, magkapantalon. Anyway, trabaho po natin to. Okay, let's go to our next, to our first guest this morning, Mr. Gerard Seno. Gerard, Sir Gerard, good morning.
Good morning, Cito. I'm sorry, nagkaroon ng technical glitch dito. I don't know.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Mukhang talagang man-to-man ka kung makipagtrabaho ka na, hindi nag-a-adjust ka pa rin. Ako, napilitan lang ako, Sir Gerard. Napilitan ako matuto ng mabilis dyan sa internet. In any case, Sir Gerard, I understand that there are reports that there are companies and employers requiring employees to get vaccinated before going back to work. Pero ang kolatilya naman daw ay karamihan, about 68% of the employers are willing to shoulder the cost. Sila na mismo, sabi nga ni Joey Concepcion, na karamihan ng mga kagrupo nilang mga negosyante are going to pay for the cost of the vaccine, and only a small group ng mga medyo maliliit na kumpanya are only willing to pay a portion of the vaccine. Now, ang kapalit, wala kang bakuna, sorry, huwag kang pumasok dito. Ano ang reaction ninyo?
Well, hindi po ito maganda na ito ay gagawing patakaran, no? Dahil yung plano nilang mag-roll out ng vaccination program, kahit libre po. But, I mean, let me just put it clearly. We welcome this. This is a very laudable initiative on the part of the employers to procure COVID-19 vaccines and to inoculate all their employees. But to impose this on the employees, lalo na sa policy na pinaplano, no vaccination, no work policy, hindi ito nakakabuti. For both sides. Kasi kung kung gagawin nila ito to solve a problem, it will also create another problem. So, this is discriminatory, and hindi naman pwedeng lahat ng employees ay pwedeng agaran o agad-agad pwedeng bakunahan. Lalo na pag meron silang health conditions like comorbidities, no? And marami rin naman nasa remote working or working from home. Maraming mga well-trained, skilled, at dahil ayaw pa nilang mapabakunahan dahil meron pa silang, hindi pa sila makapag-decide dahil marami silang nababasa o naririnig na may mga masamang effect, maaaring meron itong side effects, no? Ang kailangan dito is not to have this kind of policy, but to incorporate into their vaccination program ang education aspect, na edukahin nila ang employees the benefit of being vaccinated. So, hindi dahil libre ito, i-mandate ito, gawing compulsory, gawing precondition for them to return to work, ay hindi yata maganda. Magkakaroon tayo ng kasuhan dito, and it will only disturb or disrupt the prevailing industrial peace and even productivity of the company.
Yeah, Gerard, you mentioned something. You mentioned magkakasuhan tayo dito, or there will be legal cases that will ensue. What law is being violated by these employers if they are imposing a policy that is intended to protect the health and promoting something that is beneficial to the welfare of not just the general population, but even those who, as you pointed out, maybe simply be ignorant or have comorbidity, etc.?
Yes, maaari itong magresulta ng illegal termination vaccination.
Mhm.
Ano naman basis to impose this? Na sa ngayon, wala pa namang requirement na nung nagbukas tayo after the lockdown, na nag-return to work gradually, na ni-require sila na magpa-vaccinate. Eh, wala pa nga bakuna eh. But itong emerging discussion na pinaplano mag-come out sila ng ganitong policy, eh bakit? Anong reason? So sa ngayon naman walang vaccine ang mga tao. Wala nga silang anti-gen test, no? Kung anti-gen man, swab test. Hindi naman ginawang requirements. So ang kailangan talaga dito, kasi kami po sa DOLE-UCP, we want all workers, in fact, to be vaccinated. So
Okay.
hindi porke libre ito, ay kailangan i-impose din naman sa taong hindi pa ready. So kailangan din ito, i-edukahin nila ang benefits, no? And they need expert advice. So this is a matter of how they will successfully implement or roll out the vaccination program. So pwede naman ito by schedule, by batch. So bakit bago sila makabalik sa trabaho, hindi kailangan i-require? Eh wala ang bakuna eh.
Okay, so
wala pa naman actual case, no? Because
Okay.
these are just initial report that we gathered on the ground coming from the worker, na yung company nila ay sinasabihan na sila na pag hindi sila magpabakuna, pag meron ng bakuna, ay hindi sila papasukin
well,
or
exactly kasi
tatanggalin sila.
so let's clarify, Gerard, no? Number one, the Alliance of Associated Labor Unions Group is supportive of vaccination for all. Hindi kayo kontra sa vaccination, you support vaccination against COVID-19. So that's clear. Number two, you do not want any discussion or impositions until there is sufficient number of vaccines available in the Philippines. So klaro na tayo doon. Are you now saying as a third condition that the burden of convincing the employees to be vaccinated lies on the employer? Kasi parang may sense naman sa akin ano na okay, Gerard, halika, pasok ka sa opisina ko. Look, meron na tayong vaccination program. Ito, i-explain sa'yo ni Dr. So and so kung paano yung system. Is that what we should be doing?
This education information campaign about the benefits of COVID-19 vaccine should be, supported by all. But this does not apply to all persons at the same time. So it's about workers getting to know ano yung decision na gagawin nila para sa kanilang health and well-being. At ito namang programa ng ating pamahalaan at ng employers na i-vaccinate ang kanilang employees is also not just for the good of the employees, for their families, for their loved ones, but for the good of all of the people here. No? So
Yeah.
it's just about knowing ako ba ay pwede na mabakunahan o hindi. Yun yung mga kailangan i-consider, pero hindi gawing precondition, i-impose na hindi ka pwedeng bumalik sa trabaho, magpatuloy magtrabaho kung ikaw ay hindi magpabakuna. Pangalawa, maraming information na gather nila na iba-iba, no? Sa iba-ibang klaseng vaccine. Na itong vaccine na ito ay para sa matanda, ito ay hindi pwede sa below 60, and so on and so on. So, kailangan ito malinaw, isang ang paliwanag nito na klaro, because the worker is deciding on his health, what to do with his health. And he knows his condition, and he consults the doctor. And what is lacking probably is the proper information that is necessary for him or her to have a well-informed decision on what to do on his health. But again, just to emphasize, kung gagawin itong precondition ay porke libre, ay antayin ko na lang yung government vaccine na libre din naman. Total, wala pa naman kami sa priority. Gusto nga namin ang mga workers ay ilagay na rin sa top priority dahil they are the ones that is creating the economic activities, goods and services. So, ito yung mga sa hindi maganda, but the initiative on the part of the employers to procure vaccine if allowed. Kailangan ito safe and effective at libre naman pala ibigay. It's a very laudable initiative. Masama
Okay.
lang ito pag
So,
in-impose. In
so
the same
Gerard,
manner na early on sa,
yeah, Gerard, if a company is getting the vaccines and giving the vaccines for free for their employees, so you are saying na dapat magpabakuna naman yung empleyado dahil libre nang binibigay at made available to them.
sorry,
No,
I
if
did not hear your last.
yeah, if the vaccines are made available for free, does the ALU say to the employees magpabakuna sila?
We encourage them na magpabakuna sila, but kailangan ma-convince sila. Because hindi mo sila ma-force kung hindi pa sila ready. But
Yeah,
they
of
have
course.
to be convinced on the
Yeah.
benefits. So, and it cannot be used as, I mean, you cannot use as reason to come out with a policy na pag hindi ka mapabakunahan, hindi ka papasukin sa trabaho.
Okay.
Dahil right
Quick.
now,
Yeah.
wala na bakuna.
Okay. Sorry, Gerard, kasi last minute na tayo. Quickly na lang, what is your reaction to the reduced number of holidays? Are you guys for it or against it?
Well, we have mixed reaction. Of course, sanay na tayo sa kadang special working, non-working holiday at mayroon kang special pay on these days. To me, it does not really help if the reason is to prevent people from gathering, no, during this special occasion. Because if we are going to fully reopen the economy next month until October, so beginning November 1 and 2, at November 2 ay special non-working holiday, people will still travel. They will use their leave credits to visit their loved ones to the cemetery. So, kung sa December 20 naman, fully open na ang economy, people will still gather, they will travel, and they will buy. No? And workers are all consumers, so they can help boost the economy. So I don't think, nawawalan ng incentive nga ang employee because gagamitin na lang niya yung leave credits.
Okay.
And then, total, babayaran din naman yung kanyang leave credits, di ba?
Okay. Well, thank you for that very sharp analysis. Thank you very much, Gerard, and we will stay in touch.
Thank you also,
Meron
Tito.
pa kayong mga ibang issues dyan. Thank you. That's Mr. Gerard Seno, National Executive Vice President, Associated Labor Unions of the Philippines. Totoo nga naman, at least nagkakaalaman. Many people are still not convinced, not informed, and confused about the vaccination. And this issue of no vaccine, no employment is just beginning to kick dust or become an issue. Kasi magkakaroon din nga raw ng vaccine passport eh. Yung babiyahe ka, kailangan may papakita kang ebidensya na na-vaccinate ka na bago ka makabiyahe sa ibang bansa. So that will be the direction of life for everybody, whether you are an employee, a traveler, there has to be proof of vaccination at some point. Kasi we need to protect everyone from it. Okay, ito, while we're talking about vaccination in the Philippines, we now have the South African variant, we have the UK variant, we have outbreaks. Let's now go to Undersecretary Benjo Benavidez of the Department of Labor and Employment. Good morning. Welcome again to the program, Benjo.
Hi, Sir Cito. Good morning once again and to the viewers. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Okay, Benjo, tanong ko na lang sa iyo, Usec Benjo, what is the legal anong tawag nun, legal parameters regarding this emerging issue na no vaccination, no employment. Kasi sinabi nga kanina ni Mr. Seno, baka maging cause for termination, paano yung may comorbidity na kahit na gusto niyang magpa-vaccinate, hindi naman siya mababaccinate. What is the current thought or policy of the DOLE?
Before I respond to that, let me also thank Gerard Seno for coming up with this topic for our conversation. But to start me responding the topic, I would like to say that there is actually no such thing as no vaccine, no work policy. Early this week, Sir Cito, we saw the rollout of the vaccination in several hospitals. And actually yesterday, a number of private hospitals began their vaccination. Wala naman po kaming narinig na sa mga manggagawa sa hospital na wenersa po sila o in-implement po yung no vaccine, no work policy. This is actually so far non-existent. And if indeed it is a prevailing policy, it is of serious concern and it is very problematic for several reasons. One, of course, is for practical reason. Second is for medical or health concern, on religious grounds, and of course, the most important thing, on legal grounds. So ito po, tinitingnan po namin itong polisiyang ito, kung totoong meron pong ganito, this is actually a problematic policy.
Okay. But Usec, we can't deny that that's where the thoughts of people are going, or of society na globally, hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas, na pinag-uusapan na yan na kung biyahe ka abroad, malamang at malamang maghahanapan na tayo ng vaccine passport. Sabi nga nung asawa ko, nung siya ay bata, meron lagi silang dinadalang booklet na pag bumabiyahe sila around Europe, nung bata siya, kasi yung tatay niya, ganun ang trabaho, traveling around Europe, nando dun sa vaccine passport nila, lahat ng mga bakunang nabigay na sa kanila. Now with COVID-19, that is the thought, or that is the prevailing thought, na in the near future, once vaccines or vaccination is already established, that many countries will require, and as a cascade, even employers will be requiring this to protect their workplace and workforce.
Yes, Sir Cito, but I cannot speak in behalf of other jurisdiction. In our country, we already have a law. I think that's Republic 11525. This is the COVID-19 vaccination program. In that law, there is actually a provision regarding the vaccination card. And in the same law, it is actually prohibited to discriminate any individual who is not inoculated, na ma-discriminate po siya sa issue pong education, sa pagpasok po niya sa mga eskwelahan, o kaya sa issue po ng employment or in availing government service. So what in the Department of Labor and Employment, we are in the position, and it's in the broadsheet now, that the policy on no work, no vaccine is actually illegal. Even if we browse the provision of the Labor Code of the Philippines, hindi naman po natin doon makikita ang isang provision. Well, understandably, 1974 pa po ito, that any employee who refuses or fails to get a vaccine will be liable for termination or suspension or even discrimination. So I think the law is clear. Any act that would discriminate an individual who is not inoculated in terms of employment is actually illegal.
Okay, well, it's important. Yun nga maganda dahil abogado ka, you cited 2 points. At number one, the law is from 1974, so it does not include or cover the reality of a global pandemic. Now,
Yes.
number two, we are talking about discrimination. But in the same common laws of the land, there is the spirit of the law that says that when a person is a threat to himself or to others, the law or law enforcers can step in to prevent that individual from doing harm to himself or to others. This would fall under that category if a person decides, hindi, ayoko magpabakuna for whatever reasons. Kasi hindi naman pwede na ayaw mong magpabakuna dahil sa prinsipyo mo, pagkatapos malalagay naman ako sa disgrasya o alanganin dahil baka may sakit ka, tapos ako mahahawa. Or, I think the employer's problems is this, Usec Benjo. Okay lang, kung ayaw nyo magpabakuna, total lahat kami nabakuna eh. Ngayon, sasabi ng batas, the law says I have to hire you. But what if, because you did not have vaccination, hindi ka nagpabakuna, na-COVID ka, na-hospital ka, sagot ng PhilHealth, namatay ka, sagot ng SSS, pero pupunta pa rin sa akin yung pamilya, sir, tulungan nyo po kami. Parang nagiging cargo de consciensya ko pa yung tao na ayaw magpabakuna in the first place.
Well, let me respond this point in this manner. While theoretically, the state in the exercise of police power can require mandatory vaccination of its citizens, I think we will not reach that point because there is no actually sense in reaching that level. Sa pagkakaalam ko nga po ulit, there is no law or any labor law or regulation for that matter imposing the policy of no vaccine, no work. Now, may mga tanong po tayo. Can private companies implement vaccination program? I think they can. Actually, enabled na po sila under the new law where private entities can or may procure vaccine.
Yeah.
Not only subject to certain condition. Pinapayagan na po ang mga pribadong kumpanya. Another question, can private companies include vaccination, COVID-19 vaccination as part of their company's health and safety program or rules and regulation? They can. Actually, we welcome that. But ang issue lang po dito, gamitin po yung failure or refusal on the part of an individual para po matanggal po siya o masuspend. There is no issue as to the requirement of or as to the rules and regulation where companies may implement vaccination program.
Okay.
Ang kailangan lang po dito, I think the most important things that employers should do is to encourage vaccination in the workplace is education.
Okay.
The vaccination program of private companies must be promotive and facilitative rather than punitive.
Correct.
It pays to explain the benefit of the vaccine and the risk kung hindi po sila magpapabakuna.
Usec,
Because in this manner,
Usec,
employees will have informed decision on this matter.
I think we've all agreed on that in the past few days. No? Pero hindi, kasi actually yung concern ng mga nagtatanong sa akin is not regarding cause for termination eh. Kasi maswerte na nga yung iba, may trabaho na eh. Ang problema yung paano yung mag-apply, those who are applying for a job and who have essentially, okay, itong si Benjo, we should get him. Tapos biglang, oh, iho, are you vaccinated? No, I am not vaccinated because of religious beliefs. And then I say, sorry, Chong, hindi ka pwede. Pwede ba akong makasuhan ng discrimination or can that be taken against me? Because we have a policy in the company that you must be vaccinated.
Actually, Sir Cito, that practice, if existing, is already made discriminatory under the new law. Because nakapaloob po doon yung absence or lack of vaccination card cannot be made use for purposes of employment application for a new job or for continued employment. So, illegal po, ginawa na pong illegal yun. It's very express in the law na hindi pwedeng i-require yung vaccination card for purposes of educational employment or availment of government services.
Ayun. So, hindi porke wala kang vaccination card or hindi ka bakunado, hindi ka na pwedeng maka-avail, tanggapin o pumasa. Nililiwanag po
Yes.
natin yan. And Usec, Benjo, alam mo naman yung trabaho ko. Trabaho ko, magdala ng question and challenge para
Yeah.
masagot. Kasi maraming nagko-complain talaga na kulang
Tama
sila
po.
sa access sa information. Kanya, yan po mga kaibigan, dinadala ko kay Usec Benjo para mapakita meron na palang batas, 'di ba? So kailangan lang talaga ng mga kumpanya medyo kumonsulta kayo sa mga barkada ninyong abogado. Anyway, Yusek, Benjo, next question. Itong mga holidays, kanina if you heard my interview with Gerard Seno, sabi niya, actually, parang wala ring saysay ang ginawang announcement na yan kasi what Filipino workers will do is, okay, if you took away my November 2 or my October 31 holiday, non-working privilege, di magpapail na lang ako ng leave. Ganun pa rin ang nangyari. Maglalabas pa rin ng Metro Manila yung magpupunta sa sementeryo, etc. What's the thinking of the DOLE on that?
Well, our thinking regarding the proclamation on the reduction of ito po ay special non-working holidays po ito dati, itong tatlong mga araw na to, November to December 24 at December 31. Ang pulisiya po dito is no work, no pay. So basically, kapag ang workers hindi po pumasok, wala din po talaga siyang makukuha. He only gets pay, additional pay kung pumasok po siya. But generally, hindi naman po talaga pumapasok na yung mga manggagawa sa mga araw na yun. But the most important thing that we should consider with respect to this proclamation ay yung usapin po sa productivity. Sa amin po sa gobyerno, ako personally, this is actually a 3-day of additional work in government. So ito po ay tatlong dagdag na araw para po magtrabaho po tayo, para po magserbisyo. So marami na po tayong kailangang panggawin, marami na tayong nagawa, pero mas marami po tayong kailangang gawin po ngayon. So sa paningin ko po, mas makakatulong na magtrabaho po muna tayo, lalong-lalo na we are in the mode to, or in the road to recovery.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that gives us a different perspective, lalo na sa civil service, kasi siyempre, nakasanayan na, nakaugalian na, and I suppose it's also because everything is centrally located in Metro Manila, which forces so many Filipinos to have to travel outside of Metro Manila. Kanya talagang maski na ako, pakonti-konti, umuwi ako doon sa Batangas. In any case, Usec, Benjo, last question ko na lang. The 100 peso increase that is being mentioned or announced by labor groups na they want to push for an additional 100 pesos to the basic salary of employers. Ano ang current situation dyan sa DOLE as far as these ideas are concerned? Kasi ideas pa naman yata, meron na bang formal request? Nag-file na ba ang request?
Sir Cito, I was informed that there is already a petition, and we will let the concerned regional tripartite wage and productivity board to entertain that and to process the same. We leave the matter to the board, but it is naman po yan standard naman po yan. When it comes to petitions, wage increase petitions, meron po tayong mga parameters na tinitingnan. At yung economic, social impact will always be considered.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so meron ng petition at nasa mga regional boards na yan. Hindi pala centrally located din yung pagdedesisyon.
Opo.
Kasi akala ko lahat dito na ulit pinag-uusapan because of COVID-19. So kanya-kanya pa ring rehiyon ang diskarte at ang but assuming, let's say if a region 4 or region 1 decides that yes, we need to do this or do that, does it have the say or do they have to go to NCR or to the DOLE first?
Hindi na po. But there is a mechanism of appeal na ini-elevate po ito sa National Wage and Productivity Commission. Kasi po yung mga boards po, meron po, they are under the commission. So that's actually the appellate level if the matter will be elevated to the commission.
Okay. Thank you very much, Usec Benjo, and take care of yourself. Medyo stay healthy. At least marami ka pa rin na idadagdag sa amin ditong kaalaman. Thank you, Usec Benjo,
Maraming
Benavidez.
salamat din. Apo, maraming salamat din po at magandang umaga sa ating lahat.
Okay, that's Usec Benjo Benavidez, the Department of Labor and Employment. We'll go for a quick break. When we return, let's go to the League of Provinces in the Philippines kay Governor Presbitero Velasco Jr. when agenda returns. Okay, you're back here on Agenda. I'm Cito Beltran, your host, and you are watching us via Signal TV, channels 8 and 250. Kamusta po sa mga mamamayan, mga kaibigan natin sa Marinduque, sa Palawan, sa Davao, sa Baguio, sa Ilocos, sa Batangas. Okay, welcome po kayo lahat. At syempre, doon sa bayan ng aking nasirang amang si Louis Beltran, dyan po sa Santa Rosa, Nueva Ecija. Okay, tayo po ay pumunta. Let's go to and welcome the Governor of Marinduque and President of the League of Provinces of the Philippines, Presbitero Velasco. Sir, good morning to you, sir.
Morning, Cito, and to all your the viewers of Agenda.
Okay, sir, my first question, hindi po ako nangiintriga, no? Kasi medyo may mga kumakalat na naman dito sa Metro Manila. Mabuti na yung naliliwanagan. There is this rumor that yes, the IATF lifted all of the the restrictions for travel, particularly RT-PCR and health certificate and travel authority, knowing fully well nahaharangin man ng League of Provinces. Pero sabi naman ni Jonathan Malaya, Usec Jonathan Malaya, that's not true because we consulted the League of Provinces and they agree with what the IATF has decided. Could you please educate us, Governor?
Thank you. Let me elucidate on that. It is true that we had a consultation with them, and we are fully supportive of the policy of the government to start easing up restrictions for travel. Kinonsulta ho kami, but we fully know the situation right now, especially ho doon sa mga GCQ areas, especially NCR. Kaya sabi namin, okay, we're amenable to lifting of the restrictions, pero we ask IATF to give the LGUs the authority to impose the requirement of testing. And we said we recommend the rapid antigen test instead of the PCR because the rapid antigen test is not very expensive and you get the results right away. And that, we can also prescribe or impose the PCR test depending on the option of the LGU. So we presented that. Because not many provinces have the molecular laboratory ho, and hindi makuha kaagad. Yung waiting time is from 5 to 7 days. And so
Yeah.
that will adversely affect yung travel ng ating mga tourists or travelers. So we even suggested, we're even amenable that they can just get the PCR test before travel. So they can get the PCR test, get the result, just present the certificate at the point of entry to the LGU of destination. So ganyan ho yung nakalagay sa Reso 101 na inalaw lang ho yung PCR test as a requirement prior to travel. Pero actually ho, what we recommended is that we be given the right to prescribe testing with the use of either the PCR test or the rapid antigen test. Ganun po ang naging rekomendasyon namin, pero what came out is that they only allowed PCR test, and it is a requirement prior to travel.
Okay, given that agreement or that imposition that I will need to undergo a PCR test before I go to your province, sabihin natin, or some other province, how many days valid itong test na ito? Kasi may mga nagsasabi, Sir, magpapatest ako dito. Pagkakuha ko ng resulta, tapos magbubuk pa ako ng eroplano, pipila, etc., etc. Baka mamaya paso na after 3 days yung PCR. Meron bang sinet na date? Was there a period set by the league and by the IATF?
Well, we're saying the date of the issuance of the certificate on the PCR test should be presented within 3 days prior to arrival. So it's around 72 hours.
Okay.
That is what we recommended. Kasi hindi naman ho pwedeng masyadong matagal yung yung pagkuha ng resulta. Apparently, there's a possibility that he can also be infected prior to arrival in the host LGU.
Yeah. Now, what guarantee or assurance does the league members have na hindi maaabuso or natataranta lang yung isang official, kanya siya naghihigpit? Because some people are saying na, nako, baka mamaya gawin naman ng governor para wala tayong problema, huwag na lang tayo magpapasok ng tao dito. Yung ganon, that happened, Governor. I know of 1 or 2 governors na talagang they were so paranoid of what Malacanang will say and how they will be categorized in terms of quarantine that they simply said, we're an island, we're happy.
Hindi po, but we are fully supportive of the resolutions and directives of the IATF, especially the policy of the national government to relax the restrictions on travel. Kaya nga ho, what we ask is only the option on the part of the LGU to prescribe testing requirements. So kami ho fully supportive naman, but you have to understand that we agreed to the removal of the travel authority and also the medical certificate which were previously required. And then we also agreed to the removal of the quarantine. So this is really a big concession to them because we want to support the quick recovery of our economy. But we should have some layer of defense. Nakalagay po dun sa Reso 101, ang pinaka-testing lang ho o checking is the clinical or exposure assessment by a medical team to be organized by the PPA or the CAAP. Actually, the LGU has a right to have a doctor of their own to be a member. But if the medical assessment will simply be with the use of a temperature scanner and with the use of a health checklist, we don't think that is a very effective way of screening the whether a traveler has symptoms or not. And then
Ako,
how about the asymptomatic ho, Kasito? How about
okay,
the asymptomatic?
alam mo,
Hindi mo
Governor,
makikita mo yun.
3 beses na ako nagpunta sa isang hardware. 3 beses na rin pala akong patay. Kasi yung aking temperature ay 33. Sabi ko, anak, pakiramdam ko mainit pa naman ako. Bakit naman
Opo.
33 na yan? In any case,
Hindi po
Gob,
reliable.
okay, Gob, last question ko na lang, no? Kasi meron pong lumapit sa akin kagabi. Sabi niya, pakidiscuss mo naman sa kinaukulan yung state of the small holding or small business people, mga Airbnb, mga mom and pop resorts dyan sa mga probinsya. Kasi parang ang pinaprioritize daw ng IATF, DOT at saka ng mga local officials ay yung yung mga Airbnb, yung mga big resorts. Ito raw pong mga maliliit, hand to mouth. Yan ang pinagkakakitahan. Hindi sila makapagbukas. Ang dami raw masyadong requirements.
Sa mga probinsya po, sa LPP, we are fully supportive of the micro, small, and medium enterprises. At lalo po yung mga talagang yung mga farmers, growers, mga fishermen. So yung mga MSMEs, may mga suporta po kami dyan. As a matter of fact, we have regular dialogues with them. Meron man po kaming mga loan program that can help them. So we
I
also
think,
try
yeah.
to... Opo. Yes, go ahead.
Siguro, Gob, kasi I've run out of time, no? Baka mabawasan sweldo ko. Pero pakiusap na lang, could you take it up with your members? Kasi marami raw po mga mom and pop, Airbnb, yung mga may sobrang kwarto lang, hindi sila makapagbukas kasi bawal na bawal daw. Walang pagkakitaan itong mga kaibigan natin na ito. Okay, Gob, I promise to give you more time in our next interview. Pasensya na, medyo ang hirap pag 3 ang bisita sa isang araw. But I wish you well. We will continue to promote the information you shared. And may God bless you, Governor.
Sige po, maraming salamat po. Yun lang pong one last point. We have to prepare for this the implementation of the RESO 101. So we requested IATF and national government to give us a little time na baka i-defer muna ho itong RESO 101 so that the LGUs can be best prepared to handle the influx of travelers and even non-apports and apports to the province. Kasi practically, they feel it does not apply only to travelers or tourists. This is interpreted to apply to all. So baka po dumagsa yung hindi pa ho ready yung sistema, yung medical team, at wala naman po kaming antigen test na magagamit o mabilis na resulta na test. Yun lang po. Keep safe po at congratulations on your program. More power ho.
Thank you very much, Governor. Ayun po, napakahalagang impormasyon kasi yung pong resolution ng IATF is for tourists. At least yun ang pagkakaintindi nila Governor Governor Velasco. Baka mamaya kung sino-sino na lang ang dumating doon, mga problema nga naman yung mga probinsya. Okay, let's now move to our netizen report.
We asked you last week if you are in favor of another wave of enhanced community quarantine in Cebu due to the rising COVID cases in the province. Jose Junjun Royo seems to be pinning the blame on Governor Gwen Garcia. He also tagged her as a medical populist. Reincarnacion admits that it will be economically suicidal, but she also said that another round of ECQ will protect the people. Rain is also hopeful for the vaccines, which may pave the way to lift quarantine restrictions. However, Erwin Banglan does not look forward to ECQ because of its adverse effects to the economy. Another highlight of Agenda last week is jobs, jobs, jobs. We ask you if your work has been affected by the pandemic. Ed Chin says he is grateful that he has a job during a time of crisis. But just like other Filipinos, he hopes that our struggling economy will recover soon. Netizen Jesse Severino is already retired and he seems to love yoga. Thus, he capitalizes on the power of social media to teach yoga online.
Okay, well, thank you to our netizens and those who join us in the program. Maraming salamat po sa pagpapanood at may I request that you share and tell people about the program, and we hope it helps you, and may God bless you today. May you be blessed with opportunity, answered prayers, and especially good health. At pakisama na po kami at ang aking pamilya at yung kapatid kong si Marisa who is fighting breast cancer. We really value your prayers. God bless all of you. And that's Agenda.
Ay, bukas na. Ito, lapel check, marga, lapel check, marga. 5-5. 6-6, MJ. Ha?
Check. Uno. Okay. Dos. Ay, tres pala, tres. Tres pala, pre. Tres. Wala na dos nga pala, wala na dos. Kinanggalan ni Jonel ng dos. Cuatro.